Picture two people that are friends from high school that come from different backgrounds. First one's name is John. John is born to rich parents that owns a big company. He has everything he needs in his life: money, power, food, influence, and etc. On the other hand, you got Ted. Ted is your average high school stereotypical student and also comes from an average family that isn't rich but also not poor. Two friends coming from different backgrounds and status. Many years later, Ted decides to work hard and make his way to the top. And ultimately, it made him rich, just like his friend John, who was rich and powerful right from the beginning. Now, who do you think deserves being rich, being in power, being on top? Well, different civilizations from different places and different time will say different things about this because of their society's different types of social stratification.
What is system of stratification? Do you know what system stratification is? Of course not. Kaya nandito ang aming group para ipaliwanag sa inyo. Sociologists use the term social stratification to describe the system of social standing. Sa social stratification, dito pinapakita ang iba't ibang klase o estado ng isang tao sa kanyang buhay sa isang lipunan.
Sociologists distinguish between two systems of stratification: closed systems and open systems. Closed systems accommodate little change in social position and are typically based on ascribed status or some trait from birth. They do not allow people to shift levels and do not permit social relationships between levels. Open systems, on the other hand, which are based on achievement, allow movement and interaction between layers and classes. These different systems reflect, emphasize, and foster certain cultural values and shape individual beliefs.
Kinikilala ng isang lipunan o society ang social class ng isang mamamayan sa pamamagitan ng yaman, kapangyarihan, sweldo, lahi, at level ng edukasyon.
And there are four major systems of stratification: slavery, estate systems, caste systems, and class systems.
First is slavery. So what is slavery? System of slavery are closed stratification system in which the lowest level has absolutely no control over their social standing. Slavery is a relation of master and slave was the peak of inequality in human history, also considered by law as property or chattel.
So let's move on to caste system. A caste system is a closed system and a classification system based on birth. In a broad sense, it indicates that in some societies, your opportunities were controlled or limited depending on the family you were born into. Sa madaling salita, kung ipinanganak kang mahirap, halos wala ng posibilidad na ikaw ay umangat sa buhay. Kung ano ang estado ng buhay mo mula pagkabata, iyon na rin ang bibitbitin mo hanggang sa pagtanda. The term caste system was coined in the 1840s, but we've been using the term caste since the 1500s. You may be familiar with India's caste system, but caste systems exist all across the world, where people are born into a place and social mobility is difficult to attain. The traditional caste system contains four large divisions called Varnas: Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. At the community scale, these Varnas contain hundreds of smaller groups known as jatis. In its traditional form, the caste system is a clear representation of a strict, closed, and unbalanced system. Not only did caste position determine what jobs were acceptable, but it also controlled its members' regular lifestyle and outcomes.
Third is a state system, or also known as feudalism, which is the 9th century gave rise to feudal societies. Feudalism contained a strict hierarchical system of power based around land ownership and protection. There are two kinds of people: the nobility who own the land, and the peasants or serfs who work on the land to produce profit for the nobility. The nobility, known as lords, placed vassals in charge of pieces of land called fiefdoms. In return for the resources that the land provided and a guaranteed place to live, peasants promised to fight for their lords and would provide for protection or any other agreed service. Sa madaling salita, ang kapalit ng lupa na makukuha mo ay katumbas ng serbisyo at proteksyon na may bibigay mo sa mga nasa itaas. The peasants who worked the land served lords for generations and generations, as the estate system hierarchy was automatically reproduced at birth.
So let's move on to class system. Class system is based on both social factors and individual achievement. It refers to a system where individuals in society are divided into various classes based on different factors, such as wealth, income, profession, education, and etc. In most societies, there are three main classes. They are the upper class, middle class, and the lower class. The lower class typically earns the least, while the upper class earns the most, and the middle class earns somewhere in between. In class system, people are free to gain a different level of education or employment than their parents. They can also socialize with and marry members of other classes, which allows people to move from one class to another. In a class system, occupation is not fixed at birth. Though family and other societal models help guide a person towards a career, personal choice plays a role. So that wraps up the different types and characteristics of social stratification. I hope you gained some knowledge from us about system of stratification. Thank you for watching!